Namaskar and a very good morning. Welcome to the audiocast from Kotak Securities. I'm your host and guide, Anindya Bannerjee. Abhi dollar ka movement is tightly linked with what the Federal Reserve is going to do on July 27th. Expectation is 75 or expectation is 100. Iske hisab se the dollar is fluctuating. There is the CME Fed Watch, which basically extrapolates what the market is pricing in from the euro dollar market. That is not the euro USD which we trade, but it is the money market which is there. So because of which we can gauge how the traders are positioning themselves, whether they're positioning themselves for a 75 basis point hike or a 100 basis point hike. जैसे कुछ दिन पहले तक भी it was almost certain that the Fed is going to hike 75 bips, so 100 basis point का कोई गुंजाइश ही था नहीं. कल सुबह it was almost 80% odds that Fed is going to hike by 100 basis points. Overnight, that has dropped from 80 down to 48. And जिसके कारण dollar, which was so strong till last evening, जहाँ पे it broke parity against the euro and against the dollar rupee, it touched 80.21 in the offshore spot reference. आज it has pulled back because the odds of 100 bips has fallen. Why the odds have fallen? Because कल जो Federal Reserve member का statement था, Waller, he said that he would support a 75 bips unless and until the data interim is so strong. जैसे आज US retail sales है. If the retail sales number comes very strong, then the odds for 100 bips will again jump and accordingly the dollar will too. But आज अगर retail sales is soft, then we may see the odds for 100 bips come down dramatically. So that will also impact the dollar as well. So dollar will fall. So keep an eye on retail sales Aaj, and it's going to be an important data because abhi Fed is highly sensitive to the economic data and every meeting is live, which means not just every meeting is live, every major economic data is going to change the odds of how much the Fed will hike next. So the path of interest rate or the future expectation of interest rate is not fixed. It's extremely dynamic and volatile. And uske hisab se global markets will be volatile as well. Apart from the Fed, the other factor which we have to keep an eye on is China, because Chinese economy under de-stress because of the COVID lockdowns. और उसके पहले कोविड के पहले जो चाइना में था कि they had cracked down on the property sector, because China में basically they have three engines of growth. For a 13 trillion economy, they have just three engines of growth, and those three engines are infrastructure, building, property sector, and the exports. Now exports, they can only push up to that much because the global economy itself doesn't have the capacity to absorb like it used to absorb before 2008, before the global financial crisis. So it is basically property sector investment and the infra build up. Now they have done massive over investment and bad investments there. But having said that, they have no other engine. They don't have a domestic consumption engine. The consumer doesn't have enough income to support consumption. So therefore, last year when they cracked down on the property sector and it led to defaults and various issues, home buyers not getting delivery of their home projects, uska impact has been felt severely in the economy. So now basically they have two engines running. One is the exports, to what extent it can support, and mainly infrastructure development. They are building infrastructure which is not required, but they have to do it to keep people employed, or there can be social unrests. So China में because of this crackdown on the property sector and then this zero COVID policy के कारण, the economy has been battered pretty badly. And आज जो data आया, we saw the GDP numbers, they have come much weaker than expected. So right now the talk in China is to provide a massive stimulus once again to revive the property sector, because there have been reports of bank runs in China, and home buyers are not willing to pay mortgages. All those things are coming out. So this is very important because China at a size of 13 trillion is the world's second largest economy after America. So what it does, or what kind of economic cycle it goes through, it has massive implications for the world economy. and especially over the short to medium term, how its currency behaves is extremely important. क्योंकि China में interest rates are pathetically low and America में interest rates are rising. So now the Chinese are concerned about capital outflows. So if the Chinese currency begins to depreciate rapidly towards the level of 7 against the dollar, it can be a fresh threat towards the other emerging market currencies like the Indian rupee. So we need to keep a close watch on the Chinese currency, because through that the impact will be felt on the rupee. So as of now, Indian rupee, डॉलर रुपी कल 80 के आसपास जाने के बाद इन द ऑफशोर 80.21 हाई, नाउ इट्स ट्रेडिंग अराउंड 79, 84, 85 spot reference, which means there can be a gap down because of the softness in the dollar index which happened overnight. So ये pullback के कारण we'll get a good opportunity to buy again, because the trend is still upward and a pullback is an opportunity to buy. You can use futures or options. For example, call longs or call spreads can be done. Stop loss will be जब तक 79.50 के ऊपर है spot on a daily closing basis, तब तक the bias is upward. Resistance of course going to be 80, because 80 में there is a massive open interest on the call options. So it's going to naturally act as a resistance. At the same time, 80 is a psychological level, and 80 could be a level where RBI becomes exceptionally aggressive, especially when the euro has bounced a little, so dollar index has corrected. So 80 is going to be a tough resistance for the moment. अगर 80 के ऊपर sustain होता है, then we have a breakout possibly towards 80, 40, 80 half. So buy on dips is the trade. 79 half के ऊपर जब तक है, the bias is upward on the USDINR. In the cross currency हो सकता है यूरो INR और GBP में थोड़ा सा करेक्शन हो, because आज global equity markets are showing some uptick, so we might get a corrective up move in these, but the overall price action is still bearish in euro, pound and yen. So that's it folks, this is Anindya Bannerjee signing off. Have a fantastic day ahead.